Water. It's both essential and troublesome.
This was a concern, this area here.
Here's that water, look, it's still coming out here now.
In the rolling Somerset Hills, Rob and Jeremy are two neighbouring tenancy farmers who have been working together for over 20 years. An unprecedentedly wet autumn has flooded fields and destroyed crops.
We need water in a good condition to make the whole thing work.
Water expert Lucy reveals what's in their water and what they can do about it. Jeremy installs a fence to protect a shared stream from cattle pollution.
I said 3.5 metres. What size boots have you got?
While Rob deals with broken Victorian drains.
We actually came out here on my birthday and it sort of spoilt the day for me a little bit.
Together, they'll be working hard to look after their water by farming smarter.
Morning.
Morning.
Oh, perfect. Thanks for that.
That's all right. God, didn't we have some rain yesterday?
Totally unexpected.
Yeah,
2 or 3 mil was forecast, and then we ended up with 25.
God, the ducks were having a good swim this morning.
Did you hear what happened up in the warehouse? Totally flooded out under the roller shutter door. Yeah.
Because you did some work up there.
I know. It was diverted and then came up round the front of the building. So anyway, we'll have to deal with that in due course.
Yeah, and that culvert was blocked again yesterday as well. So we had water pouring out the field into the road. So, yeah, it looked quite clean, but it's not a good image, is it?
No.
So I know more about soil than I do certainly about the water. We're aware that as farmers and custodians of these pockets of land that we have to be good neighbours as well, to hold water on our land rather than allow it to go out onto the roads and flood people's properties.
If you see brown water disappearing down the road, that is valuable nutrients that are just being washed out of the topsoil. And that, as farmers, we don't want that to happen because we've got to replace them somewhere along the line. And obviously, not only that, you're causing damage to the waterways in fish life and pond life.
One of the things that we're looking to do to manage our water is using rainwater harvesting. So we've got 2 10,000 litre tanks, one here and one around the back of the building. The water's gathered, runs down the downpipe into a diverter, a filter system, then down into the bottom of the tank, and then it's then fed up with a calmed inlet, oxygenating the water as it goes. It has got a submersible pump in the bottom of the tank that feeds the cattle building here. Also got a livery yard here in a washdown area. So tractors and machines all utilise the water that we gather. So we'd like to open this up on other farms, especially where the sprayer is filled. And so it's a valuable resource. At the end of the day, if we weren't collecting it, it would just end up down in the stream, just down across the field there. This was a concern, this area here, because the cattle used to graze on this field and then walk down and drink from the water. We actually fenced this area last winter, and the cattle have been out of this area now for over a year. So I'd be really curious to find out what the water quality is like now.
Jeremy's invited water expert Lucy to conduct specialist sampling to help him find out how he's doing.
There's 2 things that we can test. The concentrations of things like nitrate and phosphate. But if we look at what's living in the river too, we can get an idea of the long-term basis of the quality of the water here.
Super job. Right, let's get cracking on.
Great.
Lucy starts by taking a number of samples to gauge the stream's flow and composition, starting with simple bottles and buckets. This is repeated both up and downstream, just one field apart. Small amounts are extracted, mixed with chemicals, and run through an analyzer looking for key elements. To find aquatic life, Lucy kicks up the sediment into a net and spoons out specimens into a tray for identification. While the 2 nitrate samples were fairly similar, the second test results were more interesting.
Then we have phosphate, which we've just measured at this location here, and that came out at 252 micrograms per litre. We can compare it to the sample that we took earlier, which was 76 micrograms per litre.
So 3 times more?
Yeah, about 3 times more, and over a very short distance. In the upstream area, we've got the phosphate that comes off the rocks naturally, but then as you come further downstream, we've been able to actually measure the amount of dissolved phosphate in the water that maybe has moved into the water from that soil.
What else can we do as farmers and landowners to improve?
The first thing is trying to slow the water getting to the channel in the first place. And then the second thing is to be able to hold back some of the sediment that has been picked up. So things like a wetland. Okay, here we have your invertebrate samples, and we can use actually this really handy guide from the Field Studies Council. So for example, we've got lots of mayflies and stoneflies here, and particularly a burrowing mayfly. I'm always so excited when I find one of those.
I'm glad about that.
Yeah, so it's really nice quality actually. And so things like shrimps, larvae and true worms are indicators of poor water quality, but because they're mixed in with good water quality, that's a good thing. So you've got diversity in your stream. It's really important.
It's really encouraging for me, and at least we've sort of got a benchmark now. We know what species we've got and how we can improve on it going forward.
Exactly.
So we've had 2 years of very wet conditions. What we don't know is this a pattern that's set in which case there's some changes that we have to make as farmers. This side of the farm we've always considered to be really freely drained. It never caused us a problem, but in the last 12 months we've begun to notice a problem of terrible water coming up in the fields. What we didn't realise was that back in history they had drained this side of the farm. The old clay drains, which are deep, have got blocked somehow. Your heart sinks really. We actually came out here on my birthday, and it sort of spoilt the day for me a little bit. I was walking around with mud up to my the middle of my calves, and it felt gloomy and bleak. The sad reality was that we didn't think that we would be able to plant this field this year, and the one next to it is ready to go into winter wheat, which is our most profitable crop. So we were potentially losing a significant chunk of income. The fortunate thing is we've had a really dry spell, and we're able tomorrow probably to get in here with a digger to re-establish some drainage. But you can imagine that the cost of hiring a digger, putting drains in, is not insignificant.
So a lot of the problems are sometimes inherited. Sometimes it may be a housing estate. The outflow is not fit for purpose, and so it ends up landing with us. Wessex Water, our local water authority, they want to sort of clean up the local catchment. So we're going to put a cluster group together to basically help to clean up the rivers. And I think the important thing is it's not just farmers, you know.
Yeah. Actually, our waters are okay, but there are things we can do to improve.
Buoyed by the success of the previous fencing project, Jeremy has asked Rob to help him roll out more fencing to protect their shared stream from his rotation of cattle.
God, isn't it lovely? Blue sky, end of February. Yeah, when you compare it to yesterday morning.
I know.
We've just planted some orchard trees in here. It's a well-used footpath, this. So this could be like a little community area for the village as well.
Oh, really nice, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
How many paces? 4?
3.5.
All right. The issue that we have is pretty much as soon as it comes to our farm, 2 tributaries come together. Yeah. Jeremy's in control of one of those, but he's not in control of the other one. Yeah, it'd be good when you got this done, because at least your cattle won't crap in our water we're further down then, won't it?
They don't crap in the water. What do you expect? You put nappies on them or something?
Yeah. Well, I've always thought you could harvest it straight off the back of the animal.
Sorry. No. That's too far. I said 3.5 metres. What size boots have you got?
12 foot.
Well, thanks for the coffee this morning, so I thought I'd return the favour, some chips.
Cheers, thank you. I think I got the better end of the deal there. So what do you reckon you're going to do about that drainage up at Foss Farm?
There's a short-term fix at the moment, but yeah, longer term, we'll have to sort of break up the concrete and put a bigger discharge pipe.
Really?
To run it away, yeah, so it's...
Frustrating with these things, isn't it?
Oh, I know. It's just unprecedented amount of water, isn't it? That's the trouble.
Yeah. Do you ever remember it being like that?
No.
We're back in this field a few months later after having done some drainage work here. The crop's growing well, but we've had to put some fertilizer on to promote that growth. And I'm slightly worried with the rain that we've had over the last few days that fertilizer has become soluble and gone into the drains. And now I've got Lucy here to just check what the nitrate levels are like in the water.
So we took a sample from your drain and I measured it and it came out at 9 milligrams per litre for nitrate. You generally get a bit upset when things get over like 20. However, if you think about how much this is contributing to the drain health, and then also all of these little drains of collecting then downstream, in streams, in rivers, and then finally into coastal areas, fueling things like algal blooms. And we can even see a little algal bloom happening in the drain right now. So based on our flow monitoring, which was at 3 litres per second, and the concentration of 9 milligrams per litre, that's actually 2.3 kilograms of N every day coming out of that drain. Wow. I know. You started on the right track because you do have a cover crop in the field. Yeah. I suppose the important thing is making sure that you do some soil testing to make sure that you don't actually need to add more nitrate.
So what about my favourite test then, the percolation test?
Yeah, so we put the drainage pipe into the ground and we filled up with water. And to be fair, it did go down a little bit and then it just stopped.
Okay.
So in the field, infiltration is not happening. It's not surprising because you've had so much rain in the last week. Whereas we did the test on the grass margin and it took only 37 seconds for it to do 10 mils.
What would your top tips be for me as a farmer here?
Really, everything's integrated. Trying to become more sustainable is thinking about all the different processes that will happen across that farm. And so increasing your soil organic matter will also help your water quality.
So regen is a transition, and the aim would be that you have better infiltration, so you're holding more water capacity within the soils. Is there a yield penalty? Ultimately, probably yes, but it's a long-term project, and I think you've really got to look at it for 10, 12 years and widening your rotations in order to do that.
After heavy rains, Rob and Jeremy head out to check on a steep field that used to give the local village issues until they intervened.
All that rain we had on Sunday, just, the water table's just so high. It's just unprecedented times, isn't it? That's the trouble.
Here's that water, look, it's still coming out here now.
Yeah, and it is gouging away, isn't it, of the road.
It's just taking the edge of the road off. Shows you the power of rain, doesn't it? Actually doesn't look as wet as I thought it was.
Yeah, I know, but it's when you put something a bit heavier on it, isn't it?
They could extend the solution they've implemented here to the new farmland with similar issues in Mills.
Can you remember when we took this farm on?
Yeah.
20 odd years ago? There was some real issues in the village where topsoil used to continually get washed off over the winter and end up in the village. And the 6 metre grass margin helped, but that wasn't going to solve it long term because it's a heck of a gradient. So we put this resource protection barrier, sediment trap.
8 metres square.
Yeah, and about 1 metre deep. It just allows enough sediment to sit there, and then we can scoop it away, which we'll definitely need doing this year. And you can see where some topsoil, it's still working its way, but it's not going out onto the road and it's not going up into the river. So it's doing its job. Very simple to do. Just having that balance really of making it commercially viable with the arable crop in, but with a balance to nature by having all these different features. And I think we could duplicate something like this on the land at Mills as well.
Rob and Jeremy have been implementing this sort of system for decades, even though it only started to become popular in the UK around 2010, which just shows how seriously they take their custodianship of our countryside.
We both agree that as farmers, we've got 3 main responsibilities. First thing is to produce food.
Yeah.
Secondly is to right on cue that bird then, wasn't it? Yeah. To protect the environment and enhance it. And then also, most importantly, soil, air and water are natural resources to protect that. We've still got a long way to go, but I think we certainly try and do our best.
We need to be careful with that resource that we have and make sure that we look after it well.
And to be fair, we don't really have a lot to talk about if if it wasn't for the rain.
No, we wouldn't. No.
No. It'd be quite boring really, wouldn't it?
Well, never a sunny day.
Next time, the farmers tackle a summer drought and resistant weeds through biodiversity, and new bioacoustic monitoring tech measures their nature-friendly farming.